So let's take a trip to the supermarket, shall we? Tip number 1. Eat your leafy greens. These babies are key to balancing your blood sugar levels. Why does this matter? Sebum production is controlled by hormones, and your dietary choices are one of many factors that also influence your hormones. I notice that whenever I eat too many carbs with fats, whether it's processed food or whole food, the combination of sugar and fat in a large quantity throws my blood sugar off balance. Whenever this happens, I notice that my scalp produces more oil and becomes unbearably itchy the next day. I have treated these symptoms externally, as you have seen with all of my hair treatment videos, but it doesn't address the internal problem. And what I have found is that the best internal decreasing agents are leafy greens. They are full of fiber, vitamins, minerals, and deodorizing chlorophyll, everything that is necessary for balancing your blood sugar. Extended pro tip: eat your leafy greens in the morning as the first thing you consume besides water. So what I do is I make quick leafy green broths done in 5 minutes, flash cooking. This has been amazing for regulating my bowel movements. Imagine pooping at the same time each morning. No more inconvenient rushed poops midday at work. I've always hated that. Now that my bowels are empty, I replenish my body with leafy greens and broth, full of vitamins and minerals which help with internal and external hydration. Think about your face when it's dry or dehydrated. Your skin tries to overcompensate by producing more oil. But when you focus on hydrating the skin, you'll notice that the oil production starts to regulate itself. It's the same thing with the scalp, but I have found that leafy greens work amazing as an internal hydrator, and in return, my scalp begins to regulate its oil production more effectively. I will say, if anyone out there is prone to kidney stones, ditch the broth. The oxalates are leached into the water, and you can easily just discard it. This is the main reason why I choose kale. Curly green kale is a low oxalate leafy green, and it contains calcium which can help bind to the oxalates, excreting it safely. But it is worth to mention, I don't eat leafy greens every single day. 3 times a week perhaps. It really just depends on my mood. I found that all leafy greens, dandelion greens, collard greens, Swiss chard, fenugreek leaves, which is a new discovery, and fresh herbs like parsley and cilantro, they all provide more hydration and skin beautifying effects than any topical actives or creams, and they have helped my scalp regulate its oil production over time. I see a difference the next day. My scalp isn't as greasy and definitely less smelly. I also do my best to get out the refined carbs as well. Bread, pastas, my precious white rice, white potatoes, even starchy carbs like lentils and oats, because it makes my scalp itch like crazy. I also want to mention that after I eat my leafy greens and drink the broth, I then consume my protein of choice: chicken, beef, fish, eggs, always in this order: greens, then protein, and sometimes I'll add in some carbs because why not? So the takeaway here is that leafy greens has always been the best decreasing agent for my scalp. Now that I've addressed the internal problem, we can focus on the hair treatments. The most important hair treatment for scalp health, from my personal experience, is oiling my scalp. It's similar to double cleansing on the face. Massaging oil onto the scalp helps loosen dead skin Here are some brands I have used so far. But coconut oil is not the main ingredient that would do the antifungal work. Oregano oil has amazing antifungal and antimicrobial properties. It's super potent and caustic when used directly on the skin. Never use this undiluted or it will burn. I put about 6 drops or more into a small dropper bottle filled halfway with the coconut oil, and I apply this concoction all over my scalp. I give myself a scalp massage and it feels amazing. Doing this once a week or the night before washing results in less itchiness, less hair fallout, less smell, and a lot more bounce and shine to my hair. I usually sleep with this treatment overnight, but I still get some results if I leave it on for at least an hour before I shampoo my hair. As I was shampooing my hair one night, I became curious about the pH of the shampoo I was using. According to the internet, the scalp's pH is around 4.5 to 5.5. I was quite positive that my sulfate-free shampoo was probably a bit too alkaline because sometimes my hair would get oily the next day. So I purchased some pH strips to find out, and the results were shocking. Currently, I am using a sulfate-free shampoo from Nature's Scalp, the biotin formula. This shampoo was my holy grail for years, but then the company changed ownership and the shampoo disappeared for a while. Years later, it re-emerged, but unfortunately the formula has been changed. I can feel the distinct squeak when I wash my hair, which indicates an alkaline pH. So I tested my theory, but I was wrong. The pH of the shampoo turned out to be around 4.5. I then tested my cousin's shampoo, the classic Garnier Fructis Sleek and Shine, which contains the widely used surfactant sodium lauryl sulfate, which has a reputation for being too stripping and dry. But to my surprise, the pH was around 3 to 4. I was a little leery about these results, so I tested Dr. Bronner's Castile soap, which is known to have an alkaline pH. This soap had a pH of 8. Seems pretty accurate. Had I been wrong this whole time about shampoos in the market being too alkaline? Despite these results, more bright and clear internal hydration. Everyone has their own self-care routine, and I wanted to share mine with you all in extreme detail. So what are some of the things that you do to take care of your scalp and your hair? And I'll speak to you very, very soon.